which I just came from. That is why I was a little tardy in attending your program, and I know you're very particular as well. So
right, that's not an issue. That's not a problem. But we're having a week of activities.
That's correct.
To celebrate World Food Day.
That is correct.
And well, I know every year we do some kind of engage in some kind of activity.
Yes.
Even when I'm not here in St. Kitts, I am aware that something takes place to celebrate this occasion.
Yes.
Because without agriculture, without food,
we'll die.
We'll die.
Long story short.
Right. But you're saying that because, World Food Day this year happens to be its 75th anniversary.
That is correct.
So the FAO was formed the very same year of the United Nations itself?
Itself, yes, correct. Because it was one of the most important agencies viewed by the member states that needed to be sustained and organized, and to have an organization that would basically choreograph and also coordinate all of the related activities internationally.
Because I'm aware that the 24th of October is normally celebrated as United Nations Day.
Still is.
Right. And I thought we were celebrating 75 years of that this year. But carry on. So World Food Day is celebrating 75 years this year. And in St. Kitts and Nevis, we are paying much attention to the occasion.
Yes.
Grow, nourish, sustain.
Yes.
Together our actions are our future. I'm not even sure where the together falls. Grow, nourish, sustain together, or grow, nourish, sustain.
Full stop.
Together our actions are our future.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. And it's important for us to recognize that when they say together, we are speaking of all of the various stakeholders that play its role in the agricultural sector, from the, of course, farm to table. So we have, of course, the producers themselves, we have the educators, we have also those who deal with the market chain, the supply, and of course the consumers.
Of course.
We all have a role to play to ensure that we sustain our nutrients. Of course, nutrition is important, so to nourish, you have to ensure that we have healthy food that is also within our realm of policy, which is food security. And of course, we have to go. And without the farmers, if they don't produce, then we will have a situation that we will rely heavily on other external forces to provide our nutrients, and we're not sure if that is a safe option.
I beg to disagree. We know that it is not the safer option.
Very well.
We very well know that.
Well. Right, but we don't want to create some international issues with our member friendly states.
Yeah, we have to sometimes
call up
we be frank and candid.
I like that one.
Yeah.
And so we will just let me have an opportunity to say, Michael, if I may call you that.
Definitely.
Some of the activities that we will be experiencing or having starting during this week, but we already began, a matter of fact. On Saturday at 9 p.m. we had the address by the Minister of Agriculture et al. This was streamed live and also carried by ZIZ radio and television, and of course the various social medias, which is done by, of course, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who dealt with the official opening of the week of activities. And then on Sunday we had a celebration and giving thanks to Almighty God, where we had a worship service at the Wesley Methodist Church. And then today, which I just came from, as I mentioned, we had the Seeds and Seedlings handing over ceremony by the Republic of China on Taiwan, Technical Mission, and the Department of Agriculture.
Could I interrupt you there? Those seeds and seedlings were distributed to farmers only?
No, also to aspiring backyard.
Whatever homeowners like myself who
yeah, if you so desire.
So how do I access some of that?
You just go straight to the Department of Agriculture when you leave your program and
grab a few
of how you can, one, be registered as either a farmer or a backyard garden enthusiast, of which we have many associations right now. As a matter of fact, it is through that association that was able to lobby the ministry through the Department of Agriculture and the Republic of Taiwan Republic of China on Taiwan Technical Mission to facilitate this, especially as an activity as we commemorate World Food Day.
Okay.
Right, and so that was done, and it was just concluded. Tomorrow we will have a series of panel discussions on various radio stations where we will encourage everyone to listen in, as we will have panelists such as the Director of Agriculture, Mr. Melvin James, the Director of Marine Resources, Mr. Mark Williams. We also have the various presidents of the listed, which are 7 in all, agricultural cooperatives, who will be talking on the topic the role of the, thank you very much, the role of the agricultural cooperatives as relates to the theme of World Food Day, which is grow, nourish, sustain. Together, our actions are our future. And again, as you can imagine, the agricultural cooperatives are a very important stakeholder in the agricultural sector. And so you'll have a series of these panel discussions on Win FM, on ZIZ Radio and Television, on Freedom Radio from Tuesday onward to Friday. And then we have on Wednesday, we have a reopening and launch of the Bearford Livestock Center of Excellence. And this is a very monumental occasion. As we all know, I remember when I was growing up, Bearford was a very instrumental institution that promoted agriculture and at the same time provided us with very nutritious milk.
Absolutely.
And it was not only milk, but also we had the orchards that were there, oranges, fruits, all the various, and it was limes, citrus. It was something that we all used to go as well as a visit. You used to have tours.
Well, I organized, as a teacher, I organized a couple of field trips to Bearford during my career. Definitely. It was one of the activities that students always look forward to.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And of course it fell into some disarray on the
well, disuse and disrepair and so on.
But now under this administration and also under the leadership of the Ministry of Agriculture, we will now see the reopening and the resurgence of the Bearford Livestock Center of Excellence, and we expect great things coming out of that institution as we have known in the past. So we see again the Ministry of Agriculture doing its role as we move forward, taking agriculture to new heights, especially during this time of COVID that has seemingly awakened our consciousness to the importance of the agricultural sector, especially when we were faced with possible disruptions in our food supply. And Thursday, the 15th of October, we have also the opening of the community gardens in Keon Association for Disabilities, the Second Chances, Tabernacle, Phillips's, St. Johnson's Village, just to name a few. So the Ministry of Agriculture, through its Department of Agriculture, will be having a series of opening of such community gardens, and this is also an initiative to try to improve the outlook of agriculture and as an opportunity to encourage young people to get involved in agriculture. You may not want to start on a big scale like a big 5-acre farm or maybe an acre, but if you start off with a small little background garden and develop your experience from there, it may encourage you to want to indeed be a part of the development of the agricultural sector to provide safe, secure and nutritious food to our people. Of course, we also have our Food Heroes prize giving ceremony, which will be happening that same day but later in the afternoon at 5 p.m. and the announcement of the poster contest winners, as there was a competition that we established through the Ministry of Agriculture, mostly geared to all of our artists, and we have a lot of young people who are very artistic in developing flyers and posters, and we had such a competition and the contest winners will be announced on that day. And of course, Friday the 16th of October is the big day, World Food Day. We will have the rebroadcast of the speech of the minister and also the broadcast of the World Food Day address by the Director General of FAO. Then also at the same day at 9 a.m. we'll have the farmers market right on Bank Street. So we'll have the farmers coming out in their glory, displaying their goods, and also not just farmers but also other stakeholders in the agricultural sector who will be offering the opportunity for the general public to look at the services that they provide to the sector.
Do you know whether prices on Bank Street on Friday are going to be any different?
Okay.
Where that come from? He was complaining that sweet potatoes and pumpkin and almost every type of grown provision vegetable $5 and $6 and $7 a pound.
Yes.
And he was asking, why not $1 a pound? Why not $1.50 a pound? So when we speak of the importance of food, we have to speak about the not just availability of food, Craig, and the accessibility of food, but very importantly, the affordability of food. And because certain types, the better types, the foods that we need to build our immune system, for example, so that we can be more resistant to COVID and other diseases. The kind of food that we need in order to sustain ourselves and have proper nourishment, they're pretty expensive. So that because because the food is not affordable, people are obliged to eat less than healthy kinds of foods.
Yes, I understand that.
Right? They have to gauge supermarkets when the goods are close to expiry date,
Yes.
to go and get them at half price or 75% off and so on. And we know very well the dangers inherent in that.
Yeah.
So, what do you know what is in place to address this question of
Very, very good question. Let me say that this is
affordability?
Yeah, this is an issue that has been plaguing the minds of policymakers in small developing countries as our own, because the issue of economies of scale does play a
Definitely, that's
important
critical.
role, right? The fact is that the farmers too have to survive based on the trade or the service that they're providing to the general public, and it's very important. I would say it's an essential, as it was categorized during the COVID, in terms of the allowance of movement, or at the times when there were closure, and of course the time when a lot of us were restricted in our movement. Farmers were considered essential workers, and so in relation to price, I think then that the administration of agriculture will best be served if the Ministry of Agriculture, or by extension the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, and not just St. Kitts and Nevis, but the governments of small developing states, has to look at the issue of support. The thing about that is, it goes against the principle of the WTO, which is the World Trade Organization, and which we have signed on to, where subsistence to the agricultural sector is, I wouldn't say prohibited, but frowned upon.
Discouraged.
That is correct. And so you find now that for small economies of scale like St. Kitts and Nevis, we are going to be in competition with the larger countries that can produce larger quantities of food of varying types, who also get the support from their governments.
Yeah, but we're talking about for domestic purposes only. We're not talking about for export at the export
It's
level.
still the same, because even if we were able to provide the needed subsistence to the farmer, as we did during the COVID, as we see with the stimulus program, we provided free land prep, we provided seedlings, we provided technical support. All these are free, of course, and these would have reduced the cost of production. But the issue is that in the protocols for the World Trade Organization, it is said that we're not even supposed to provide that type of support to our local farmers. This is the issue, and we've seen that it played out in France, the United States, where they're even making demands on that.
Even if the local farmers are gearing towards satisfying the domestic market only, that's the point.
Even if.
Because of course it's going to be local farmers which are also producing for export purposes.
Because remember, when we do that, it is viewed as a restriction to free market, which allows now, or should I say hinders, other farmers from various jurisdictions to apply their services and their goods to our local market, which is very small. But like I said, those are things that have to be negotiated and worked out. It's a very difficult situation for policymakers, but that is just one aspect in terms of government giving this support. But also, farmers need to come together and form cooperatives and work together. And when they work together, then they are able to further reduce the cost of production and then provide the goods that are affordable to the general public, and at the same time provide I would say a good standard of living for them.
Yeah, but Craig, let's look at this. A fellow is selling bananas, locally grown bananas, and to tell you the truth, I long for return to the days when all, if not, 90%, if not all of the bananas available was locally produced. I mean, a fellow is selling bananas, and we know this is a common thing. He sells bananas for $1.50 each. And at the end of the day, he only sells 40-50%. So he has to find ways and means of divesting himself of the other 50%.
Exactly.
But if he sells the bananas at 50 cents each, all 100% of his stock is going to disappear. People are going to buy.
Yes.
So that is one issue which I keep wondering.
But as a businessman, he will, and that's why we've seen and heard where farmers would prefer to give that produce to the pigs, and so that they can make a return on their investment. And truth be told, it is understandable why certain farmers, one, they would throw away the milk, Two, they will throw away the tomatoes, then sell it at that price. Why?
At a reduced price.
Yes, they would, and that I understand why.
And we're talking Senkits, by the way, because we know this happens a lot in the so-called developed countries.
It is
I want us
happening
to localize it.
It is happening even here. But this is what I will say. What the Ministry of Agriculture is trying to do is try to encourage our farmers to get involved in added value. And that is why we also have the Senkits Agro Processors Cooperative Society. How this will help with the overall development of our agricultural sector? One, so if we are unable to have the produce sold at a reasonable market price that is
at an affordable price. That's my point here. Affordable.
Remember, again, like I said, we are dealing with a free market. It is not a we are not in a communist or a socialist country per se.
Centrally planned economies.
Thank you. So you also understand that the producer is the one who will be guided by the market the market and the supply and demand, and then determine their price. And truth be told, it's hard for you to demand from a farmer who is out there working hard to tell them what their price should be. Otherwise, if you are going to do that, you have to sustain them with other support systems, which is frowned upon by the World Trade Organization. And so, when you are pushing the issue of affordable prices or affordable commodities, it still has to be beneficial and profitable for the farmer. And so I say this, that is why we are now encouraging farmers to get involved collectively in agro-processing. So if you have the 50% of the bananas that you have just cited as an example that are unable to be sold because we had a glut, maybe you have too much. Maybe.
No, because of price. Because of price.
I don't want to go down that road.
But that's where I'm going.
So they can now move that into something else. Maybe we should go into baby food, push global out to the way and provide our own local baby foods. Maybe we can provide now plantain fritters or banana fritters, or as we have done before, banana bread. I did say fritters, right?
Yes, banana fritters.
Right. So those
banana
are pudding. Thank you. So those are the things that we are trying to encourage the farmers to move to. So if they don't want to sell their commodities, which you can't force them to, at 50 cents a pound, which I find is, for them is not business. No businessman will do that. None.
I'm just quoting a figure here.
Same thing. No businessman will do that. They will want to get the highest return on their investment.
Clearly.
And so, therefore, we're encouraging to do that. And again, I go back to the two-prong approach. It's either one, the government offer assistance, or you would call it, in policy making, it's
subvention.
Thank you. Subventions in terms of support for the agriculture to the agricultural sector for the farmers, or we encourage the farmers to formulate themselves into collective groups such as cooperatives to provide those other aspects.
Okay, are you ready to converse with the public? Okay, you can call us at 465-2555 if you wish, ladies and gentlemen. You can talk to us here on Frank and Candid and engage Craig, Mr. Tuckett, and on what you're hearing from him, because I don't necessarily agree with all that he's saying. But
I would like to say this to you, Michael. You cannot put a cloud of question onto my statement that I made about the 75 years. But let me go to the facts, because I don't like to go pull things out of my head. Not saying that you do that. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations is a specialized agency of the United Nations that leads international efforts to defeat hunger and improve nutrition and food security. Okay? It was founded in October 1945.
Well, I guess that's
established because the leaders, so the leaders realized the importance of agriculture.
Definitely, and I agree with them. Good morning, caller.
And Mr. Blake.
Yes, sir.
And good morning to your guest there.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I'm here listening to the program, and it's a very interesting program.
Thank you.
I like the question posed by Mr. Blake, and the answer coming from the gentleman. I could understand where he's coming from, and to an extent, I always wonder why the prices cannot be affordable. But now, Mr.
Tuckett? Yes.
Yeah, the way how he's explaining it, I could understand that perspective.
Thank you very much.
But the thing about it, I believe that was one of the problems with the farmers in terms of coming together. I think the coming together will make it better, because farming is a difficult job.
Yes.
Yeah. My wife tried it, and I assisted her, and it is really rough. Yes. And the thing about it, you have to have some kind of business aspect to it. You have to have an understanding of the market. Yeah. Because for me, I remember when she tried it, there was the guy who she worked with, they had a lot of tomatoes. And she was explaining to him, why not drop the prices and get the tomatoes off the hand. And he was seeing it from a different perspective, just throw them away.
Yes.
And we just couldn't understand where, but because he was there before us.
Yes.
For us. But the bottom line is that if you drop the price, persons are going to purchase.
Yes.
And the thing about it, what I'm seeing a lot around, especially in Bastia,
Yes.
a lot of the farmers, they are not local persons. So this thing about things for this thing about selling by the pound, that come all of a sudden because these persons are coming with a different perspective to the way we know it in terms of selling.
Exactly, yeah.
So now you find everything is by the pound.
Instead of by the heap, or by the pile, or by the what do you call it?
Bunch.
A bunch. As
Yeah, that's how we going up, you know what I mean? The
parcel.
you know,
That's what I'm looking for.
go everything
Parcel,
by
right.
a pound, 2 pounds, and this.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Sometimes it's
Subvention
really
is the word.
ridiculous.
Subvention.
Imagine selling breadfruit by the pound and
Exactly, and breadfruit, you see, you know what I mean? Sometimes, as we say,
Yes.
in colloquial term, breadfruit banging dog, but
Right.
they're selling it by the pound.
Yes.
imagine that.
So, the thing about it, but I agree with Mr. Tuckett, the only way going forward is by the
Cooperatives.
farmers, rather than doing it single fry or doing it by themselves, and
Yes.
just pull together. Once you pull together, they will definitely make a better effort, a better
Yes.
way of doing things, and you know what I mean?
And get better results.
Yes.
Get better results, because as I said, I could attest to, I'm even trying the backyard garden.
Excellent.
And just to dig out the grass is real rough. It's a rough.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you have to do it from time to time, not just once.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the thing about it, persons sometimes don't understand, and when the farmers ask for the price, you have to, if you understand the work behind farming,
Yes.
you will understand why they put the price that way. But the bottom line for me, what bothers me most is the way they price these things, and when they cannot get them sold, they just throw them away.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I think
They
we have
need to
another
just
call.
pool, and the agro processing, that will be a good thing to supplement what they have, so at least they can still make some kind of money.
Thank you.
But a great program.
Thank you.
I will continue to listen.
Yeah, my concern is that the number of persons like Craig who can afford any price is very small. The larger portion of persons are like myself, who really have difficulty with some of the prices. Good morning, caller.
Says the retiree.
Hello.
Morning, Mr. Blake.
Morning, sir.
And good morning, my family there, Mr. Tuckett.
Family, good morning. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
All right.
Now, I could see along the line why the farmers would stick out to the price. Because one, if they continue to lower the price with the things that they didn't get sell when
Yes.
the sun is up, people are gonna wait till tomorrow. Let me see if he ain't gonna sell them the cheaper now tomorrow when the sun set. So they ain't gonna come and buy while he could make a profit.
Yes.
They wait till the price drop and then they go and they buy up all. So that is the reason. And the next thing again, we got to grow to eat, to get healthy and stay healthy.
Yes.
This thing about backyard garden, I think we need to take up the BACK and put it side yard, because while you plant in the backyard and you round to the front and you're landing where you could see on the left and you could see on the right, you can't see behind. Them long tail boys, they're behind, they're destroying where you plant.
Oh my. Yes.
So they are a problem by themselves.
Yes. Yes.
We have to not kill them out, but reduce the population. We have to work on that there first.
Yes. Well,
That is the first. That is the sore foot anyway. Once we get that there healed,
And we have another caller.
okay.
we put our guap,
take
we
note
put our ointment, then we could go forward. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you. Let's take another caller before Craig and attempts to address some of them. Hello, caller.
Thank you.
Hello, caller. Hello. Okay, we've lost that one. We have another one. Hello. Okay, go ahead, Craig.
Well, I wanted to say in relation to the pest of the green monkey that we have that pervades our existence right now in terms of the agricultural sector, and is a pest indeed. It's a real threat.
Yeah, a lot of farmers will tell you that they're worse than COVID.
I'm telling you. I mean, I saw a farmer cry, and I'll give you a little story. It's not a joke, but it's something that you need to realize. I was during the time when we were actually high in production of onions, and he had put down 5 acres of onions. Now, 1 acre of onions, right, minimum, will give you 20,000 pounds. That's $1 a pound, right? So he was looking at $100,000 at least, minimum. And he had already put his plan in place, what he's going to do with the 100,000, how he's going to pay off debts and everything. he seeded the whole 5 acres. Would you believe, as about a month before the time of harvest, a month, a troop come in and just come out and pull out every single one. Just because
they're not eating them.
Just pull them out.
Just pull them out.
Just pull them out. The man cry. I saw the man cry. I tell him cry. And big man are talking about. So I said that to you, that the Department of Agriculture is also aware of this
scourge.
It's more than a scourge, I would say. It's a pandemic too. And we need to address it. And they have tried. They have now a project which deals with the pervasive species of the green monkey, that they're looking to see how best to, one, control the growth of the population, and two, I wouldn't say to reduce it, because there are some international organizations that are fighting us in regards to that. So we have to be very tactful in terms of our utterances,
response. Yeah.
Right. But I would say that we are going to try our best to address and to stunt the growth of this particular pest, and hopefully we will be able to develop further strategies moving forward. I've heard that a farmer, what he did, he mixed molasses with stone ginger wine, and he put it in his farm. They come and they eat it, drink it.
You mean drink it, yeah?
Yeah, and then after that they just get drunk, and he just picked them up one by one and carried them over to a particular institution. So there are many ways, and very ingenious ways of trying.
Whatever the best practices are, needs to be shared with all the farmers,
yes, that is,
so that they can apply it accordingly.
And that is done through a cooperative. You cannot rely only and solely on the Ministry or the Department of Agriculture. We have to become self-reliant.
All right. Now, earlier you spoke of a food heroes prize giving ceremony.
Thank you for coming back to
Yeah, I'm just wondering, and for the benefit of the listening audience, who qualifies to be a food hero? Who selects these food heroes?
Sorry. So again, I would like to say that the Food Heroes Prize giving ceremony is from the Department of Agriculture. It's basically around the concept that who has been a very prolific producer, and one who, as a farmer that is, and one who works in close working relationship with the department. So it's not just in terms of a hero, like national hero you would say, but someone who has been doing the work as a farmer, as a producer, providing safe, nutritious food, while at the same time work over. And like I was mentioning, just to wrap up in terms of the activities, so our farmers market will be on Bank Street. That's where you're concerned about the price, if they're going to be different prices.
Yeah.
Yes, there will be a seafood festival at the Bastia Fisheries Complex. A seafood festival at the Bastia Fisheries Complex. Again,
Meaning?
You're going to have lots of eat and drink of seafood provided by the local fishers. It's going to be a lot of music, a lot of entertainment going right down into the evening. As a matter of fact, when I was the first Bastia Fisheries Complex general manager, I established the first concert. It was Small Axe was the first band that played there. It was a great event. It was organized and facilitated by the fishers, and we're trying to see if we could bring that back. Also, I'd just like to say that on my return in 2000, after I had my Bachelor's of Science in Agribusiness Management, I was the founding member and the first president of the St. Kitts Cooperative, St. Kitts Irish Farmers Cooperative Society. And so cooperative has a real interest in my view, and a very important role to play, and that is why I'd like to encourage everyone to get involved. And on Saturday, the 17th of October, we have a health walk. We're going to be walking from Brimstone Hill to Sandy Point Market, public market. That's from 5:30 a.m. All those who are interested, come out. And we're asking you to wear green on that day. As a matter of fact, on the World Food Day itself, which is Friday the 16th, we're asking everybody to wear something green. I will be wearing green for the whole week in my tie.
I'm already clad in mine.
Right? And so I will encourage everyone to wear the color green. Of course, the color green is associated with agriculture, with forestry, with
nature.
With nature, and this is what we're encouraging everyone to do. So on the health walk on Saturday, that's the 17th at 5:30 a.m., we're walking from Brimstone Hill to Sandy Point at the public market, and we would like you to wear something green. Then 8 a.m. we will end off with a food fair at the Sandy Point public market. And finally, on Friday the 23rd of October at 7:30 p.m. we have Harvest of Praise Gospel Concert at the Zion Moravian Church, Victoria Road. So these are
What time does that begin?
That starts at 7:30 p.m. on Friday the 23rd of October Harvest of Praise Gospel Concert at the Zion Moravian Church, Victoria Road, Bastille. You remember the days when you used to have harvests? Remember when you used to churches and you used to bring all the pumpkins?
Some of them still have
Yeah.
that. Some churches still do. And then at the end, some churches sell and others distribute it among the congregants.
Exactly. And so there you have it, a week of activities.
Let's take this caller first.
Very well.
Hello, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Blake.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning to Brother Tuckett Day.
Good morning. How are you, my friend?
Oh, a good man. Good.
Yes.
I just come from Happy Farm too. Yes. Now, Brother Tuckett, listen. Don't you think we got all kind of credit union here? No, farming is one of the most important industry in the federation.
Yes.
Don't you think that it wouldn't be good to farm a farmers credit union?
Very
that
good.
when those farmers want a loan, they just go there and take a loan.
Of course.
Instead of go to the bank with these high interest.
Of course.
And an experience with the all your parlor. I believe that farmers come together, can't him. I believe farmers will do much in the country. Especially we livestock farmers. Because we livestock farmers, you know, we get a lot of with our beef, with our mutton, and the pork with the overseas thing coming in.
Yes.
And I believe if something put in place, you know, that we farmers come together and we can supply the supermarket and supply whatever with beef or with mutton and with pork or whatever or with chicken. I believe that we'll do much better in the country as farmers, and the country will do much better, the economy will do much better. Because the money staying in the country ain't going out.
Agreed.
You understand?
Agreed.
So I just like to see farmers come together, and especially agriculture farmers who work in the provision, can't you? Sweet potato.
Yes.
Back in the 90s, I used to got sweet potato, something I got to sell a bag of $50.
Yes.
Truck with that, I had 20 back for a truck. You understand? Something I got to sell a bag of potato for $50, but now sweet potato gone high sky.
Definitely.
I'm at $500 per bag. All right then.
No, let me ask you a question. Don't go yet. Are you a member of a cooperative? Are you a member of any farmers cooperative yourself?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Agriculture department. I don't do crop.
Okay,
Good.
nice.
Thank you. Well done.
All right then, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Excellent. Let's take another caller. Hello.
No more calls. Well, let me just say that I'm very happy that you raised that, because the cooperative can do so many things in terms of as a business enterprise on behalf of and for and by the farmers, and that is the issue. But I think the issue of trust and leadership is a concern. There was this new phenomenon that seemingly you have a call this.
Carry on, caller.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Blake.
Good morning, sister.
Yeah, the monkey them very distressful for children. A friend of mine sent me a video, they just gone. Up in Nevis, if you see nearly about 20 of them playing out, inside to fight. Like to begin and look the rest, 18 start to come and so. They need to eliminate them, and they need somebody to put fish belly on top the fence. When you get fish guts, put them on top the fence and they will run them. But the farmer there who do the trick, let me give them mix up the thing that was good.
Yes.
No? But everybody may want to do that. And they need to go in and the overseas person will tell us don't get rid of them. They ain't got none doing, they ain't got no farm, no.
Exactly.
They ain't got that doing by the overseas.
Yeah.
And they ain't supposed to come about human among animal rights, animal disturb us for real. I don't know how come in, say 1 year since they were paying up in Buckley, but they said they'd be all down in people yard, but I never really see one around here since I hear. I don't know for later, but they're very distressing. The man said he pull up all the onion, that really was hurtful,
Yeah, man. I saw
the
it.
The government need to stop about human rights, animal rights, get rid of them. Since a couple of years ago, I hear them talk about animal rights. Animal rights, they think them more like the population than think it's now. They need to get rid of them, their nuisance.
No, it's serious. It is said that
They're threatening our food supply. It's as simple as that. Which means they're threatening our existence.
Correct. And this is something
It's an existential threat, as we like to say. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right. Let's take another caller. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes. I always cringe when persons denigrate an agriculture worker's ability to make a reasonable living.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you put a price on a person waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, farming all day,
Mm-hmm.
and then that same person has to market the products, they have to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't put a price on, say, a banker making $10,000-$20,000 a month, but and all they have to do is sit in an office and whatever, and that's it. So how dare we put a price? Food, the problem is of the price of food is not the price of the food.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the cost of living, and this comes from way at the top. Policymakers, usually politicians in our case, you know, that is the real problem, not the price of the food. We're like that and thing. No, for a bigger picture would have been if government, agriculture department controlled the food supply. That would have been different in that you could put a cap on the price saying, well, everybody sell a pound of potato for $2. But farmers have to have a lot of input before they could get to that market.
Yeah.
You know, and it bleeds my heart when people say, oh, look at it, they're selling a pound of banana for $3 or whatsoever. You know, but it's reasonable if you count what they put in, and they have to make a reasonable living. Why? Because you're a farmer, you must be poor for the rest of your life.
No, nobody's saying that. Please don't go there. Nobody's saying that at all. Nobody's recommending
Yes,
that.
but then if you take down the price, which is the only way that they could make a living is by selling at a reasonable price, because the price is reasonable. You know, because a person doesn't think that think that it's expensive. It doesn't mean it's expensive. You have to check at all the other variables to get to
but ma'am, you must agree that reasonableness here is very subjective, because reasonableness now would arise based on the income of the purchaser, of the customer. And so my position is that there are certain persons for whom buying a pound of potatoes, and let's stick with potatoes for now, sweet potatoes, which I love very much, $7 a pound, I might be able to afford that. I, as Michael Blake, might be able to afford that.
You will, yeah.
But how many Michael Blakes and Craig Tucketts are there who can afford that? So the question is, for the large portion of persons, I'm not sure if necessarily they're the majority, the large portion of persons who simply cannot afford to buy a pound of potatoes at $7.
Yes, but
that is what I'm saying. We're not saying that the farmer must reduce his price to $1 because John Brown can only afford to pay for $1 for a pound.
Yes, sir.
But if you're catering to a customer base, then you must satisfy that customer base to the largest extent possible, and that includes not just quality but price.
I agree with whatever you say, but listen, the burden must not be placed on the farmer not to make a reasonable living. The burden must be placed on persons who decide how much people work for. Because I'm a low-income earner, right? But I go and buy the potatoes because I'm not a farmer. If I was but there's nothing wrong with the potatoes being sold for that. Because you would go in a store and you wouldn't mind buying, say, a cauliflower or broccoli for $6 or whatever per pound. What is the difference? It's the same nutritious, wholesome food.
No, those are assumptions because,
It's not fair to tell a farmer, a fisherman, anybody that that their price is so expensive. It's reasonable with the amount they put into it. Right?
Okay.
All right. Well,
do you agree with me?
I'm going to give my my statement as regards to that. But I agree with you. But
Okay.
but there are things that I would like to say. I'll add to it.
Just a minute. Okay, that's it for you, ma'am?
Well, I could talk for the whole day.
No, well, don't, please.
Because growing up as a farmer,
Yes.
I know the pain that farmers, because...
Yeah, take 30 seconds more, please.
I know the pain, and it's reasonable. But as I said, people need to work for more money, especially like there are a lot of low-income workers. That's not right. It's not about the farmer and selling the food. It's about people need to work for more money based on the cost of living.
Okay.
And that has to come from above. Not the farmer should not suffer because policymakers decide that I could only work for $375 a week.
Okay.
So I can't afford to go buy the pound of potato, which is better for me than the nonsense noodles and so that they got
Ramen noodles.
For 5 cents.
polluting the place with.
Right.
It's
Okay, thank you very much.
Paying people a decent wage so that they could buy good, wholesome, nutritious food.
Thank you very much.
My last statement.
No, make it quick, please.
Everybody,
10 seconds.
I don't want to hug it, but my last
Yeah,
statement.
10 seconds. Yes, I'm going to have to.
Everybody needs to start. And I like the way it's going with the backyard garden, because growing up, everybody had things in their yard that they
Yeah, your time is soon up.
have to buy everything. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very
but
much.
please,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, folks, we just cannot afford to let you speak forever. It is not going to happen. Let's take another caller.
I tell you so all the time.
Sorry about that.
Look, I walk in ground since me a little boy. And I know how it is. You never see a potato seed. Potato is planted by slips. And what you ain't make, what great profit you ain't make on potato, you make it on cucumber, you make it on watermelon, you make it on something else.
Okay.
A fisherman go out in the sea 5 days a week. He can't expect to get 100 pounds of fish every day. One day he will not get nothing. So the days where he went out before and he make, that they make up for the day when he ain't get nothing. So people got to understand, Mr. COVID is the best teacher in the world. Who can understand? You will have to understand. We have to adjust and accept the fact that things cannot be better right now because of Mr. COVID. He got everybody under heavy manners. So when there is no money over there, what are we going to do? Bang, who's supposed to be in charge of over there and tell them, give me more money and no money there because of Mr. COVID? Mr. COVID ain't got no tourist boat coming here to bring no money. We got to accept the fact that we got to change. It's a new normal, not the regular normal. And the only place you don't find a monkey in St. Kitts is in the prison. But they are bus stop all over the place.
Okay.
Okay then.
Thank you. I think we have time for maybe one more call. Yes, let's take this one. And then we'll get back to Craig to make some final inputs. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but Blake, the reason why the situation like this, right? Because you got less people farming now. Especially in the planting sweet potato. You know, back in the 70s and in the 90s coming up, this place used to grow potato ground. So you could have even fully grown potato now. But the amount of people planting sweet potato now, they can't afford to plant the amount of sweet potato because the land remains there. You understand? That's why potatoes are so expensive. You think if 20 people to plant potato all around the country like how we used to be before, potato would have been $6 and $5 a pound. It'll maybe be the same thing at $3 or $4 a pound it'll be. But because less people farming and the land them limited now, the land there now to plant, like sweet potato plant, yam and all those things. All right then, Brother Blake.
Thank you very much. And that's going to be our last call for today. We are going to have Craig make his final statements, and then we'll wrap it up for today's session.
Thank you very much.
Over to you, Craig.
Well,
you can make some responses if you wish.
Yes, I wish. I mean,
I do like the idea, however, of forming a farmers' credit union,
yes,
where farmers can access loans at special rates exclusively for them.
Yes.
Carry on.
But first, let me say that I thank all of the callers and the listeners. Even though you might have gotten in, I'm sure another opportunity will be afforded me to come and to discuss issues related to agriculture.
You can come back on Friday. Very
well. I'll take that very good point. I'd just like to say in relation to the issue of sweet potatoes, a very interesting point, and there was a lot of points that were made that were very dynamic, because a lot of things play in the overall determination of price. But let's address the issue of the sweet potato. During the COVID-19 agricultural stimulus relief fund program, the government afforded, through the Department of Agriculture, a group of farmers to plant 25 acres of sweet potato. Do you know not one of them come? Do you know soil moisture? And so 25 acres did not come. And so you have an issue, as the point that was made earlier, about not having the amount of production on, increasing their watershed capability. So it's not just about applying for a water connection from the government department, water department, but also making ponds on your farms, and, as I said, harvesting water. The other issue is in terms of price. It is dependent upon, as was rightly said by, I think, the young lady who called earlier, about the cost of living, inflation. And of course, we know we have
a number of variables, a number of
other
factors.
But that is also a point I wanted to encourage her on. Yes, there is the issue of the minimum wage that is being discussed at this point in time with the government, and of course, looking to see how we could address the concerns or the issues that are facing the most vulnerable of our population.
Yeah, but Craig, excuse me, let me interrupt here. You know that as fast as we increase the minimum wage, the prices increase commensurately. The prices of goods normally.
Well, that also is something that
right. We have to take that into account.
The government is looking at through the control, cost control. They call it the price control.
Yes.
Unit. And so those are things that has to be continually observed, continually monitored, and it's something that we will have to encourage the government by also we being very observant. And we need to go to the stores, and if we realize there is price gouging, report it to the ministry. And in closing,
right,
I would like to just remind everyone that World Food Day is on Friday, the 16th of October, and that the Ministry of Agriculture will be having a series of activities that we would like to encourage everyone to be involved in. Like I said, tomorrow we will be having a series of panel discussions across the Federation at various radio stations, so listen in, so you can also call in and hear your views. The panels will include the presidents of the farmers agricultural cooperatives that are listed. There are 7 in all, and also the Director of Agriculture and the Director of the Ministry of Marine Resources and the Permanent Secretary. Also on Tuesday we will have a ceremony to launch the Ayika Rabbit Rearing Project and Workshop. That will be at 10 o'clock tomorrow. And of course, we encourage you all to come out on Friday to the Seafood Fest at the Basel Fisheries Complex and to also wear something green. And it's important for us to always remember that we must continue to grow, nourish, sustain. Together, our actions are our future.
Thank you very much, Craig. Just to remind the audience as well that I did promise you last week that I was going to resume my evening classes as of today, Monday. 5 o'clock at Washi. So those of you who are interested, you come along or send your children, as the case may be. 5 p.m. Washington Archibald High School. I will be resuming my evening classes. That was Frank and Candid for today. Thank you very much for being a part of it. We certainly thank Craig Tuckett for being here to discuss with us some of the activities surrounding food and agriculture. World Food Day, which is on Friday coming, and we will have him back if he is available on Friday to tell us more as we proceed. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Until we meet again, do the right thing. I'm surprised that FAO